Oh, didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Ben Burke, and you're about to learn about statistics. As you know, students pay plentiful amounts of money to attend schools just like Kingswood Oxford. Along with money, students spend a lot of time to travel to Kingswood Oxford. Take Omar here, for example. Omar spends over 50 minutes every day just coming to KO. Now, someone like Rob might be wondering, does this time spent commuting affect academic performance? Well, that's exactly what we'll be answering here today. One study done by the National Multifamily Housing Council found that living off campus has little or no negative effect on students' academic performance. Another study done by Oregon State University also found no significant relationship between academic achievement and housing. This trend continued in our final related source, which stated, furthermore, there was no academic performance differences between on and off-campus students in 2012. While previous studies focused on the academic performance of college students, we wanted to see how this phenomenon affected high school students.
Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving.
Our observational units would be Kingswood Oxford students between forms 3 and 6. And our study site is Kingswood Oxford. Kingswood Oxford is a school diverse in both wealth and student residence. Some students traveling over an hour every morning to go to school. This made it the perfect place for our study. We chose 2 advisor groups from each form by selecting randomly numbered advisors. To these advisor groups, we distributed anonymous surveys regarding the following variables.
I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches.
The data collected from these advisor group surveys were then graphed.
Peaches come from a can, they were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
Now, today I'll be discussing the results of our study. However, to discuss results, we're going to need a graph. No, that's not the graph. There we go. The graph was organized by dividing observational units into 5 different groups based upon their commute times. The 5 different groups were those who arrived at KO after 20 or less minutes of traveling, and then 20 to 40 minutes, 41 to 60 minutes, 61 to 80 minutes, and finally 81 to 100 minutes. These groups then had the estimated GPAs of each of the students in the groups averaged out to determine the average GPA earned by students with those commute times.
Now, if you look to the left of the graph, you will see the numbered average GPAs of each of the groups, starting from the lowest commute time to the longest. So it begins with an average GPA of 3.47, followed by 3.14, 3.6, 3.54, and lastly, the people with a commute time of 81 to 100 minutes have an average GPA of 3.7, which is in fact the highest GPA out of all of the averages. It is then followed by the average GPA of the 41 to 60 minute group, then followed by the 61 to 80 minute group, and then the less than 20 minutes group, and lastly, with the lowest GPA, is the 20 to 40 minutes group. Now, if you look at the graph, you can see that the differences between all these groups is kind of hard to tell. They are all relatively similar, and there's no real trends. The only group that has a slightly noticeable difference is the 20 to 40 minutes group. However, even that difference is not that large in reality, because the difference between this group and the highest group is a grade point average of 0.56. That is the biggest difference in this graph.
I took a little nap with a loose old twist, squished a rotten peach in my fist.
So our hypothesis wasn't right. No, I don't think I can get it.
So our hypothesis was wrong. The sporadic and minimal differences between the groups showed that there is no direct correlation between commute time and academic performance. But yeah, our study just had too many flaws. For the first one, our sample size got halved from 2 groups per form to 1 group per form, just because the distribution of the surveys just didn't really work out too well. So that really reduced our sample size, making it so when one kid had a C average in all his grades, as he wrote down, it had largely affected the group which he was in, which was the 20 to 40 minute commute time group. So that really messed up our results. On top of that, there's a snake on me.
Millions of peaches.